Hello again. I'm not going to get in a fight over the economy, over debates, or over anything. This rant is more about online applications. They're great, don't get me wrong, they help green environment, but they're ultimately useless. You can't tell what type of person you're hiring by looking at an online application, and for the people that have to have a job, constantly searching for a job, it's useless to them because they can't bug you. For those that don't know what I mean, when I got hired on Waffle House, I was up there every single day until he hired me, talking to the managers, dealing with all the situations until they hired me. But here's the problem with online applications. I have no way to contact numbers to see what's going on. I have no way to do anything. Also, you don't get the full range of the person you're talking to. Here's another problem is it takes the power away from the stores. I have about 3 or 4 subways I could work at if the manager got the chance to hire me, but they don't. It's some CEO who, it's probably going to cost me a job there for the next application, who really doesn't know what he's doing. You want to know why I say that? Well, the one up the road from me, the Watauga office, hired a drug addict in place of me. Oh, and he's a drug addict. He lives right down the road from my house. He smokes weed every single day. Out on the front porch smoking weed every single day. And turn around, and the beach store that they were supposed to hire me at hired a punk. He's rude, he's nasty, he's everything else to the customers, with lots of piercings. I don't mean just the normal ears. I mean ears, eyebrows, lip, nose. And the guy told me he's supposed to hire the best of the best. Well, I was turning around. Even in the interview, I was showing him I knew what I was talking about by explaining to him. Okay, well, I've worked at a lot of fast food. I've always made 100 on all my health tests, which anybody that will talk to you that knows me knows I have. I've gotten about 4 or 5 health cards, and I can turn around and use the thermometers properly and everything else. I think the only thing that really cost me the job was I said I prefer to use a probe thermometer to a surface thermometer, and it does that no food, no, you have to use the probe more than the surface, so the surface scan only gives you the surface. It doesn't give you the full cord all the way through. But, you know, what am I talking about? I'm not some drug addict or some punk. Not saying that all subways are bad, but that seems to be all they want to hire anymore, since they took the power away from the managers to hire themselves. I guess it's no longer best the best. I guess it's who can kiss the more ass. Next thing. The reason also why it's useless, you can't really tell who you're hiring based on some quiz that's a double-edged sword. The reason why this is, have you ever been convicted of a crime? No. And it goes down about 50 other questions and goes, if you have been convicted of a crime, it doesn't really give you the option to say no on that one. On top of that, it also asks you, well, do you think people are trustworthy? And later down it goes, your friend has such and such credit cards, and you're questioning it, but how do you bring it up to your manager? It's stuff like that that's proven to be a double-edged sword, because you can't really tell what type of person you're hiring, because it doesn't really take any effort to go online and look at the answers you want. You're not going to get an honest employee most of the time with questions like that. And that's not even the worst of it. I was applying at the Garden Ridge one, and there was no way to make it to the 3rd page because there was a mess up in the code. Yeah, messing up in the code is bad when all you have is online applications. On that note, I'm also having to deal with unemployment issues too. Many of you know I lost the job with Cornerstone, and because of Cornerstone's actions later on, I can't go back there. Not because I'm not welcome there, because I don't want the one-day jobs. I don't want them sending me 500 miles out of my way. But because of that one-day job, my unemployment's back up in the air where they can cancel it, say no, whatever. After it's already been approved, it's back up in the air to the point where I'm going to have to pay back all the money I've received so far. which most of you know that it's going to screw up my medication that way. It's going to screw up everything with that. And that's bad. I'm a diabetic, and the last thing I need is my medication to get screwed up because Cornerstone's wanting to play, we don't pay unemployment. Well, you have, and all you're doing by this is making it where when I get appeal, it's not going to be, oh hey, I need to appeal, let me do it myself. It's going to be, alright, here's a lawyer. On top of my appeal, here's mental stress, anguish, whatever. Companies don't realize anymore, if I have to hire a lawyer for anything, it's not going to be just, let's clear it up and be done with it. It's going to be, okay, they've messed up your medication, they've stressed you out, wonder how much money you and I can get from this lawsuit with them. That's why I don't hire lawyers. I mean, I've had situations where I should. When I got fired from Whataburger, well, depending on who you talk to, corporate said I never worked there, and a few people knew I did. They told me, go home, don't come back, because I had a blood sugar spike. Which means, you know, when blood sugar spike is when it's high or low, diabetics don't do too well. Like, I was physically shaking when they were yelling at me. So, anyway, that could have resulted in a lawsuit, which is why corporate says I never existed. I could have one against Walmart right now for identity fraud because they refuse to clear up my social security number in their computers. I would go to work for Walmart, yes, if they would still hire me, but according to them, I have to hire a lawyer and a personal investigator to find this guy out there in BFE, Michigan, on top of that, and have him sign a piece of paper saying he's not me and my social's mine. Which could be a big problem if he's an illegal immigrant or whatever, because he'd be caught, and unfortunately I don't have the money to hire a private investigator. So all hiring the lawyer would do would be like, you've caused him mental stress and anguish, and their stress is actually what caused me to get both flus and make me diabetic. He'd go, there's money there. I also don't sue because it can eventually come back and hurt you in job searches. When my friend Richard had his bar, he got told he couldn't hire a certain person because the person had a workman comp suit, only one, against a company for his back. So it really does no good for getting the lawsuits as much as people says it does. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if this continues, I'm going to have to hire a lawyer just to get this claim taken care of. And it's stupid for an unemployment claim to be challenged every single pay period, and it has been. I'm going up my third pay period, and I just got the debit card with the money on it from the past two, and they gave me a phone call Monday and said, oh, well, your claim's back under investigation because Cornerstone is forcing the issue on that one-day job. I was assured by a lot of people, including some people at the workforce, that one-day job wouldn't have made a difference. They just had docking for that day. And between that docking and all the fees I had to pay because Chase screwed up, it cost me close to about $120 in fees on that card. So, between those two issues, I'm still going to have to pay about $600 or so if the case gets failed. And I don't have a job. I've been searching for a job ever since I lost it. I have hit every single fast food place I know how to hit, every single grocery store I know how to hit, and I've been filling out online applications to the point where I've actually worn off one of the keys on my keyboard. Don't believe me? It's actually broke. See? It came off. So, on top of that, things aren't going well for me anyway. My brother's fixing to leave. More power to him. He deserves a life wherever he goes, but this was not the time to take off when the family needs you. But, you know, like I said, you might get a better life out there. I've just got to figure out how to get my life together, and I've been searching, and hopefully I can get a job this week before he goes. We'll see what's in the cards. We'll see what I can do. But companies, get these online applications in control and make it back where the manager chooses who hires, not some CEO in some company that doesn't know anything about people. I mean, I'd go right now if the Hearst subway could hire me without having to go through him, they would, because I've cleaned up. Anybody that knows me that's been in that subway knows I've cleaned up the whole place. I've turned around and even cleaned the bathrooms for them. I've turned around, swept the floors for them. I've turned around, cleaned the countertops for them, because me and my friends play there all the time. We play role-playing games and card games there all the time. So, yeah. Let's get these online applications fixed where it's back in the hands of the people it should be, and not some CEO that wants his ass kissed versus what's good for the job.